Good afternoon, Elvis Maldonado, candidate for District 9. Good afternoon. How are you?
Doing great. Reporting for duty, sir.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
Welcome to the Miami-Dade County League of Cities. Just to begin, just to let you know, we're recording all the interviews with all the candidates. So this will be recorded and this will be placed on our website and our Facebook and Twitter, whatever social media we can get
Platforms.
it on. Okay. So
Okay.
I just want to let you know ahead of time.
Sure.
And the other thing that I wanted to tell you is that we will be doing it. Oh, this came up because we had a very positive and very good mayoral forum. And the board of directors and executive board decided, why don't we start interviewing our county commissioners, candidates,
Okay.
so that they know a little bit about us and we know a little bit about them. We know that you were a former councilman from the city of Homestead and that you were very involved with the League of Cities, but that's why we're doing this with all the candidates. So welcome. This time I'm going to ask our first vice president, Mayor Joe Corradino, who's on the line, and will be asking you questions, and also Mayor Otis Wallace from the Florida City is on the line. He'll be asking you questions also.
Sure.
So thank you, Mayor Corradino. It's on you.
Hey, Councilmember, how are you? Good to see you again.
Likewise.
Like Richard said, we're doing this really on behalf of the league. The league's been around since, I think, the 1950s, and our goal has always been to advocate and support the cities and really working hard amongst all our cities to, to focus on the common issues that we have. So we're taking even more seriously now than ever before our role with the state representatives, with the county commissioners on behalf of the cities, and really just trying to foster better communication between the municipalities and the county government. So we have going forward a little bit more seamless partnership between the counties and the city government. So, this would be a benefit, I think, to the both of us. We want to know what's happening in the cities, not only in your district, but all around and with the League of Cities. And we want to understand a little bit about you. So with that, if you have any, if you want to give an opening statement about your candidacy, to let everybody know that'll be watching this, what your position is, you can do that, or I can just start. I have a couple of kind of overall questions that we would ask, and Mayor Wallace would go into some more of the local stuff.
Well, I think I'll go ahead and let you guys start off. If anything, I'll wrap up.
Okay, perfect. That'd be fine. I appreciate that. The first question we have is a little bit more general and really involves all of the cities and kind of the response to COVID. As part of the COVID response, the region or the county was afforded about $477 million in coronavirus relief funds, or what they call the CARES Act. Again, the money was only given to Miami-Dade County, and there was no stipulation that it be given to any other local government whatsoever, but in any common way. We worked with Miami-Dade County and tried to figure out a fair or even way to split it. Our negotiations broke down, and the county essentially just gave us a number without really any methodology to it. Would you be open to any discussion for a different way to split any further relief funds if they come out during the fall or winter?
I mean, I would, and the reason is that, the benefit is that I was councilman with the city of Homestead for the last 10 years, obviously giving me the ability to understand the importance of our relationships with the county and the difficulties that we've had and that what you're having right now. I think there's an advantage that I have in sense of that I've served on a local municipality level and understand that relationship and the importance of it. Obviously, there is a breakdown, and we've all heard about it and seen it on the news. And so that being said, I know the importance that, matter of fact, I know the city of Homestead is looking for X amount of dollars as well. I've spoken to some of my former colleagues in discussions with some of these items, and they're looking at a set number. And I'm not even clear whether they're going to be able to get that set number that they're looking at. And so there's a concern that I have there, knowing that if they don't get those dollars that they're looking for, is going to negatively impact the municipalities. And so I'd like to hear more on the county's methodology on how they came, to that set dollar that they're going to give you. I've heard in the past that, we need to be responsible for it. We want to make sure that we don't get in trouble for it. But I think that there's a little bit of a disservice there in not trusting those elected officials from those municipalities that are in the eyes of those voters are going to be responsible for that. So yes, I think the answer would be yes. I'd be open to seeing how we could get some more dollars out of there.
Thank you. The follow-up to that is similar with Corona. It'll probably, what the medical experts tell us, stretch on not through the fall and into 2021. The League of Cities had been in coordination with Mayor Jimenez and his staff. In our coordination really was informational. It wasn't necessarily a working session between the cities and the staff, the cities and the mayor and his staff and his medical people. Have you put any thought into how it would be best to coordinate with the municipalities? One of the challenges was that a lot of times we wouldn't even be given a heads up on a rule that was being made. We would hear it, announced in the press. How would you coordinate with the cities to make it a little bit more seamless?
Well, I think that, I started my involvement with my community with the word and understanding of liaison, correct? I would like to see whether it's the Miami-Dade League of Cities, which I believe should be, whether it's Richard or whether it's the president, but someone to be in a liaison, to be within and included within those meetings while they're happening. As a council member in the city, when I was with the city of Homestead, I would have liaisons to put them in those meetings so that their voice or that message was going to be taken back, to the community, which was my community, which I represented. And so let's say for whatever reason, I couldn't get to it, but I had a liaison there, grabbing that message, making sure it goes back to our constituents and they're informed and they could then work together. So I would use a liaison would be the model that I'd like to see, working with Miami-Dade League of Cities, whether it's whether it's the executive director or one of its board members.
Thank you. Mayor Wallace, do you have any follow-up questions or questions?
Am I unmuted? Yeah, there you go. Hi, how you doing, Elvis, Councilman?
How are we doing, big guy? Good to see you.
Alrighty. Elvis, one of the things that I pondered with you being a local elected official for 10 years in this area, what are some of the things that you hope to address as a county commissioner that you experienced as a local elected official that needs fixing? Obviously, you thought there was something that you need to get involved with and make better. What are some of the things that you look to accomplish as a county commissioner?
Well, I think that one of the major challenges that when I was an elected official with the city of Homestead was that working relationship with our commissioners. For example, we are still dealing with a road improvement on 328th Street, which we all know it's a county road. And when our constituents believe that we are the ones that are in charge of the roads, that we are the ones in charge of the signs and the data of signalizations. And there's that, I think we need to do a better job in explaining to our constituents and those around us to help us understand who's in charge of what, who's responsible for what. The difficulties that we had as a city was that an example with that 328th Street project is when there is an issue there, we were not able to find out who was in charge of that project in the sense of those builders or developers. And so, if we called the office and asked for the commissioner, you were met with a staff person, and for some reason that message never got to the commissioner. And I say that because, my colleagues today are still having that problem today. Luckily, on the campaign trail, I happened to find out who the owner of that company was. And you know what I did right away? He was like, hey, after we met, we're having some issues with this project. We need to get with Homestead with getting something passed. Can you help us out? I was like, let me do something better. I was called the council member from that district, which is Councilman Larry Roth. I three-way called immediately and put them together and said, listen, you're not going to get any closer than the actual commissioner or elected official for this district with this road project. And so I think that's an important, process, that we have a better working relationship with our commissioners. I've learned that, and it was one of the main reasons that I jumped into this race because I saw the challenges that our staff had with dealing with the county on those issues was one of the reasons that I jumped into this race, to make sure that I am going to be understanding the issues because I dealt with them directly, and making sure that that doesn't continue to be an issue for us.
Sounds good. Councilman, one of the things that, you know, probably one of the most pressing problems we have is the COVID-19 situation. And as all over the country, and I found out internationally when I'm looking at the news today, other places are starting to bring back restrictions because they're either experiencing the second wave or never got over the first one. But as I see all over the United States and internationally, people are starting to pull back. We're all concerned about the economy, but are you concerned at all about our area, our county, our state loosening up to get the economy going? That's absolutely the reason. But are you concerned about a second wave, or perhaps we were too open? What's your feeling on the pace of our reopening the county and how we should approach it?
So, you know, that's the $1 million question right now that's happening, you know, not only within our county, but in our state, but throughout the whole US, right?
The world.
Right, in the world. And so we are all dependent on our economy. And we've seen the effects firsthand, and seen families that are not able to pay rent, not able to pay for food, and all the reasons that we've all seen. And so I think, you know, that balance is always going to be the challenge. As a business owner, I've experienced as well, you know, how my company has been hit in a negative aspect because businesses are closed down. And so I could tell you that that has negatively affected me and my family. So I am one of those individuals that are saying, hey, let's open up, because, you know, I need to put food on the table. And so, but part of that opening up is the safety factor. And I feel that we are educated well enough today to take the precautions that we're taking that is helping keep those numbers low. We have opened up to an extent. I believe we're in a phase 3 right now, and we are noticing that we're always going to see some type of tick uprise. But the good thing is that wherever I go, whether it's for lunch somewhere or going to a business, we have seen everyone take the precautions needed to have a safety. I went to lunch earlier today. They sprayed my hands with antibacteria, made sure that we had our mask. And so those are the steps that we need to continue to take. And whether it's by enforcement or to make sure that we are following those guidelines that are going to help us together open up our economy and keep some safety precautions. It is those individuals or businesses or locations that do not take those precautions that do cause or would cause concern for us to kind of reopen, you know, the infection rate in there. So, but I'm comfortable right now with the guidelines that we have and the precautions that we're taking to safely continue to open up our economy.
Thanks, Councilman. Well said. One last question from
Sure.
me. One of the running battles we have when it comes to the funding that Mayor Corradino mentioned coming in is the county initially took the big brother approach of all the money coming there, and they knew just what to do for the whole county. We differ with that, thinking that some local governments were closer to the road and better equipped to handle those problems. Now that you're on the road to become a county commissioner, will you, as a former local official, understand that though the county has all the power, a lot of the times the problem gets best taken care of at the local level? Will you be able to divorce yourself from being a county commissioner with the power and sharing it like you would have wanted it when you were a former councilman?
Well, I could thank organizations like the Miami-Dade League of Cities and the Florida League of Cities and really instilling the importance of home rule in local government. Um, Fortunate for me, when I got on as a council member with the city of Homestead back in 2009, I jumped headfirst in and got involved with the Miami-Dade League of Cities and with the Florida League of Cities. And what they've instilled in me is the ability to really understand the importance of that relationship. How many times have we not gone to a meeting in the Florida League of Cities or Miami-Dade League of Cities and heard of our elected officials that have gone to Tallahassee and forget about us because they have to do the party politics up there? And we've heard that time and time again. And I was asked many, many times, please, if you ever go to a higher office, don't forget where you came from. And so I think that, we've had a good relationship over the last 10 years. I've not changed who I am as a person. I'm always going to be Elvis Maldonado, representative to my community, and making sure that we're having a good working relationship. I understand, and what I think I would have liked to do as well as a commissioner, if I was a commissioner in that situation today, I would like to sit down with every city within my district and talk to them about the importance of that we're both understanding what is it that we're responsible for, because they took the approach that, hey, I got this money, if you misspend it, it's on me, but if we sit down like educated adults and understanding the process, and we really line this up and work together to make sure that the dollars that you're getting are noted to make sure where they're going to go and they're falling in line with the federal regulations, then I think that could have worked out better. That's how I would have done it if I was the county commissioner at that time. But that's the way I would do it. And you have my word, I will not change who I am. I've never have, never will. And so I will continue to be here to represent my community as best possible.
Following up on that,
I was muted. I was trying to thank you, but I muted my mic. Thanks, Elvis.
No problem. Thank you, Ms. Wallace.
and I just wanted to follow up on that question. In this particular case, your district, District 9, only has one city, which is Florida City. Two,
Homestead as well. Homestead as well.
do you have the entire Homestead or part of it?
A portion of it.
Portion of Homestead. Okay. So the issue, the question that I would have is, being that it's only two, are you going to be able, because I'm sure that you have a large piece of unincorporated Dade County,
Correct.
you're going
Very
to get
large.
pressure from, your colleagues on the dais or from the administration regarding unincorporated Dade. How are you going to be able to balance that out with the two cities that you're working on or working with right now?
I mean, again, it goes back to really understanding, what their methodology, how did they come up with that number that they were going to, and how they were going to, put it out there to UMSA. And so, again, the reason I said I'd like to sit down with the cities and see what their needs are, and find out what the methodology that says, how much they're supposed to get. That's so I don't know, do I do a formula if I get X amount of size of a map? Do I break it down in pieces and say, okay, well, out of those, let's say $10 million, just to put a number, if I break it down, you're only getting like $1 million or $2 million. Like, what is that formula methodology that we're going to use to make sure that that money is spread throughout the district or in the county to make sure that it's being used accordingly and providing what is the best impact it's going to provide for not only those cities, but of course for the UMSA. And so I know that there's other districts that have larger municipalities within the city of Miami, the Coral Gables, and those districts like those Palmetto Bay and Pinecrest. And so they are a large portion of that district. And I'm pretty sure that they're fighting for those dollars and they're not getting it. And they have services to provide. They have costs that they're charged to. And so it's definitely not fair that, you guys have, you have incurred costs by providing services, and now you're looking for that dollar amount that we're supposed to get. Again, what is that methodology that they use? What is the formula that they use that unfortunately for some reason sounds like it's not working for us? I'd like to revisit that. And if I get up there and we have the opportunity to revisit it or talk about that, trust me, I will be making those questions and figuring out what is going to be the best practice to get those dollars that need to be given to you. What's the fair amount? I understand, their concern, I understand what they're saying. I might not agree with them 100% in saying that, hey, it's on us. If you guys misspend it, we're the ones in trouble for it. I think that's kind of a weak answer. I would definitely have worked, sat down, worked with our cities, Miami-Dade League of Cities, to figure out what is that win-win. I've always been an individual, regardless of who comes to do business. When I was with the city of Homestead, I wanted to make sure that I was always creating a win-win. I never liked the feeling that someone was either led astray or didn't get their fair portion of the pie. I'm an individual that has a standard that says treat others as you want to be treated. And that I like to be treated fairly. And so I would want to do nothing more than make sure that we're all getting a fair share of the pie.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, we're just about done. Would you like to conclude with any closing statements? We were right at 3:30, and we're
yeah.
So
First of all, thank you for this opportunity. It's great to know and understand that I possibly have the opportunity to move on to the county level. But I look forward to moving on to the county level only to look back and look back of our history and our memories with my relationship with the Miami-Dade League of Cities. I understand and know I was at every meeting that I could go to. I was probably the first one there and probably the last one out because I think that I formed some very good relationships, working alongside with Miami-Dade League of Cities. And so I look forward, as being the commissioner for District 9 and looking forward to be working with the Miami-Dade League of Cities to make sure that we are empowering our local municipalities and helping them meet their challenges. I know that with numbers and with the right people on your side, that we're going to be able to make a difference and bring about some change to the challenges that we have in District 9 and in the South Dade area and even in throughout Miami-Dade County. Even though I know that I would be representing a district, which is District 9, but I understand that I will also be a vote for all of Miami-Dade County and all the decisions that are being made. Again, fortunately, as a former councilman for the last 10 years with the city of Homestead, I've been able to partake with the Miami-Dade League of Cities to just, bring about change. And so thank you again for this opportunity. It's great to see friends and family that are out there. I look forward to working with you guys.
thank you, Elvis. We look forward to working with you too. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Elvis. We appreciate you coming out. Thanks.
Anytime, guys. Be good. Bye-bye.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Representative Keone McGee. I'm Richard Cooper, the Executive Director of the League of Cities. How are you?
How are you? I apologize for the tardiness.
No, we're glad you're here. Just to let you know, these interviews are being recorded and we're doing it for all the county seats that are right now running. So we're pleased that you're here. On this particular Zoom meeting, we have Mayor Joseph Cordino. He's our first vice president.
Hey, man.
Hey, sir. How are you?
Hey, man. Fighting a good fight, my brother.
And Mayor Otis Wallace from Florida City, he's on also. So
Mayor.
thank you very much for joining us. And I'm going to ask Mayor.
How you doing, Representative?
The meeting.
Great.
Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. Just as an introduction for why we're doing this, the League of Cities has been around for, I think, since the 1950s. And our goal has always been to advocate for the cities. We worked hard to coordinate amongst the cities on and fight for the common issues. And we're really taking more seriously than ever before our role in communicating with our state representatives, our county commissioners, so that we can foster much better level of communication and provide even a more seamless partnership between the other levels of government and ourselves. And that's really going to help us all get along a little bit better in the world, because it is a hard place to do business these days. With that, I'm going to give a couple of questions, starting off mainly kind of higher level regional types of issues. Then Mayor Wallace will start with some more local stuff. The first question we have was that, the medical folks don't anticipate the coronavirus to necessarily be gone into next year. The county was afforded money through the Coronavirus Relief Act, or the CARES Act, to the tune of about $477 million. It only went to the county. It wasn't specifically said that it needed to go to any other level of government other than Miami-Dade County. And despite the city's work through the League of Cities with Miami-Dade County on what we would have figured a more equitable split, the county simply arrived at a number and told us that was it. Would you be open to a discussion on a different way to coming up with a methodology for splitting those funds, ones that the city thought was more equitable?
Of course. Let's be absolutely clear. County government is big, but the municipalities, the cities, the towns, they understand what the needs of the people are at a more close level. I think it was Chip O'Neill who stated that all politics is local. So of course, that has to be the issue. I do not believe the county should be in the business of mandating to the cities what to do when the cities are the ones should be in a position to tell the county how it's truly affecting the people on the ground level, and not some 13 individuals who are sitting on a dais telling the municipalities what to do.
Thank you. And along those lines, we were working with the mayor and his staff and the medical folks. They allowed us into some meetings to coordinate on the response to the coronavirus in terms of regulations and restrictions and those types of things. They weren't really working meetings. A lot of times we were maybe informed of what was going to happen before it happened. A lot of times we read it in the newspaper when it actually happened. Would you be able to have any ideas on a mechanism to better communicate and better coordinate on that level of importance of a regional issue where all of the citizens are affected by everything that's done?
Yeah, great question, Mayor. And the short answer is COVID has taught us a very important lesson that communication can be had the split of a hair at any given moment. I would honestly say the easiest way to do it is the same way we have this format as we speak, right? We create a Zoom where we allow the citizens to come in, we allow the regional folk to come in, and we also allow our local elected officials to come in, and we have a nice platform and a nice discussion. That way all of us can use this moment as a teachable moment. So the short answer is I am proposing at this moment, until we're able to get our hands around this pandemic, that we continuously communicate through a platform such as Zoom, which would allow for more folks to be part of the process.
Thank you. Mayor Wallace?
Representative, I know you've been following the news. It looks like all over the nation and all over the world, the virus is beginning to, raise its head again. Places that were seemingly under control are now having upticks, some serious upticks in most states in the United States as well. This is at a time when Dade County has been loosening up for good reason, trying to get people back to work. But what's your view on the current policies we have in terms of curfews and the sanctions we have in place in view of the current uptick in the virus? What's your thinking?
The short answer is just one word: insufficient. Right now, what we're seeing on the ground level and what we're hearing from the medical community, they're calling for more stringent conditions that will actually assist in controlling this breakout, like the second wave of the coronavirus pandemic. Secondly, I think we should look to the medical community and allow for them to give us their view, not some political view that's coming from those who are elected and those who are sitting in positions of appointment, but those who have studied these pandemics in the past and those who know what we should be doing. So I think this should be led by the medical community. And lastly, without a question, we're gonna have to figure out a way to get our hands around the issues that we face at the airport. The vendors at the airport, the small business providers there at the airport. We're gonna have to figure out a way, how do we make them whole? And another thing that we're dealing with too, that we're seeing that's coming out of this pandemic that must be addressed on a local level too, is whether or not we give local local preference to the local communities and small businesses to give them an opportunity to participate in the hopefully soon, few years out, the swing back to a good economy. So that's my position on it. But right now, I believe one word to describe it is insufficient, and we must do a better job in wrapping our hands around this thing.
You know, Keone, you grew up in South Dade, and you started your political career at the state level, and now you're coming back home to become a county commissioner. What are some of the what drew you to the county commission race in terms of things that screamed out that Keone needs to be here to fix this? What brought you to the county commission race, and what do you think you can do with Miami-Dade County?
Thank you, Mayor. Great question. First, it was the community. Many people knew at the state level I was pretty much kind of walk into the sunset, you know, go make money and raise my family. My wife's a school teacher, and besides, I have student loans I have to pay, right? But the community came and they met with me and they said, listen, you know, Commissioner Moss will be term limited in a little bit, and we need for someone to step in and be our fighter. And no one is in a better position than you, because you grew up here, you work here, your business is here, and you were born here. If anybody has a vested interest, it's you. So I met with them, and then I met with Commissioner Moss, who gave me his blessing, and a few others. And at that moment, I had one more person to ask and get her blessings, and that was my wife. She gave me her blessings, and then from there, we mapped out a plan, put together a great team, and the community has been very receptive. And three of the issues I can tell you right now, Mayor, that has always and will always keep us behind the eight ball. The first one is adequate transportation. Mayor, as you're aware, there are two ways that we can make an economy thrive in any condition that's moving goods or moving people. And I believe Miami-Dade County, specifically the South Dade community, has an opportunity to show the world how to move both simultaneously on a nice system, i.e. the rail. So that's one. Number two, what we're seeing is the affordability of a home. I know many people are screaming of affordable housing, but down in the South Dade community, our people here have been screaming. They don't want to continuously rent. They want to be part of the American dream. They want to be able to pay property taxes. They want to be able to own a home here in the community. So affordability of homes is a second issue that we have to deal with. And the third issue, and this is something that we must all come together for, crime and crimes, number one, because at the end of the day, the crimes here in the South District are really hurting our small businesses. It's hurting our community development opportunities, and it's also hurting families. Many families in these communities are calling for more police presence, which, you know, that's something I would support, because, you know, to see a mother who lost a child to murder and have to bury that child, and the child is only 15, it makes you really understand where they're coming from. So many of the members in the community are calling for more police presence, a better community policing system, and also more accountability for those who commit the crimes. And I can tell you, as a former prosecutor, I can tell you that, you know, all of those have to work in tandem. They have to work together in order for us to move to a more perfect union within the South Dade community. So those would be my top three. And the last one I didn't mention, I know I said three, but the last one, I would say small businesses. There's no way the South Dade community is going to be able to thrive without having some plan in place for the small businesses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Another question. Okay, Joe's back. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Otis, if you want to add one more, that's good.
I know you got to leave. Go ahead.
One of the questions that I had was really about permitting. The fact is that Miami-Dade County, if a city is doing a streets project or a public works project, it needs to go through, because of the home rule charter, a permitting process through Miami-Dade County. And that permitting process, unfortunately, can take months or even years to get simple sidewalks or those things out. FDOT actually has a program called the Local Agency Program, where they certify either engineers from the city or the city's consultants, and allow the cities then to plan, build, and construct to DOT specifications any project under the control of the city, right?
Yes.
Would you be open to allowing the county to relinquish some of the control over those projects to municipalities if a program like that could be set up?
It would be negligent to not. This is, I've always stated, and I'll say it again. I do not support a big government. I think the government that's best in position to help the people are the government that is close to the people. And the municipalities are in a better position to help its people. And let's be absolutely clear, if you do not, they will let you know, because they're going to see you in the supermarket, riding your bicycle on a bike path, or walking your dog. So I am in full support for allowing local agencies to have the permitting power over their jurisdictions and their municipalities. That is, in my humble opinion, a great start to showing the people that we are serious when we say we have to reduce the bureaucracy and the bureaucrats that are holding up progress within our communities.
Thank you.
You know, I often have the argument with my sister, who's about to leave the county commission, that the county is one of the few places where yes is a problem. I mean, that's an amazing thing to say, but the problem starts with yes. And your views on reducing the bureaucracy and getting it down to a more, and I'm sure there are good reasons for the many layers that they have, but I think that I've always felt that the commissioners did not look into that issue enough to see what was going on below them. They just assumed that the bureaucracy works fine. How do you feel as a commissioner about shaking the boat a little bit and looking at pressing issues? This has been discussed forever, the permitting and the bureaucracy and getting through stuff, but no commissioner seems to want to dirty their hands and challenge this. How do you feel about getting involved, and how would you get involved?
Easy. Give me some cliff notes. Allow me an opportunity to review the issue thoroughly. Allow me the opportunity to sit down with staff and the attorneys. I would then put on my attorney hat, listen to the community, and I am sure the community would be in favor of what we're talking about right now. And from there, we propose the item. Listen, I've never run away from controversy. As a matter of fact, they always tell me that I run too much to it because somebody has to do it. And I always believe that, elected officials, we don't own these positions. We're hired by the people. And if the people want their roadways completed in a timely fashion and completed in a way that makes sense to them as taxpayers, then who are we as elected officials to tell them to hold up? Who are we to tell them when it's going to get done? They give us the order, we execute the order. And that's what I truly believe. And I do, again, I sometimes believe that government can get in its own way because of the size and because of the fact that people believe that they don't work for the people.
Fresh position, keep it.
Thank you.
I've got a question about water and sewer. I think in Miami-Dade County, almost evenly geographically split in a sense, there are almost thousands of built home units without access to potable water or sewer. So they're on septic tanks, right? In what we consider one of the most preeminent world-class communities in the world, where we have in some places third world infrastructure. And this creates many issues. Pollution, the groundwater pollution of Biscayne Bay, it impacts the cost of building homes. It impacts our economic development. And I think in my research for decades, Miami-Dade County has just not addressed this and perpetuated inferior infrastructure. How would you address that situation?
Exactly how you just laid it out. Again, it just goes back to my position. Listen, our county has an issue when it comes down to dealing with the issues up front. They would prefer to kick the ball down the road. And that's what we've seen from some of the commissioners, not all, but some of them. But also we've seen that from the top floor where they would kick the issue down the road. The way you deal with that is simply what you just stated. If you know that we are a top destination, the world is looking at us. We have some of the most expensive homes in the entire world. We have the best sunshine that many people can only dream about. Yet we still have people dealing with septic tanks in this great town. That means one or two things happen. That means someone fell asleep at the wheel and caused us to run over this proverbial cliff of do nothing, or there's a conscious decision to leave it that way in order to appease someone who wanted that way. I'm of the belief that at this point, that if you're living in Miami-Dade County and there is a septic system in our area that's not been addressed through water and sewer, I think honestly that is a problem that must be dealt with, and it should be a priority, because what it does is it creates the haves and have-nots, and I don't believe the government should be in the business of picking winners and losers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Richard, Mayor, any other questions?
I'm sorry, I had to unmute the mic. One final question. In the COVID relief package that Mayor Corradino spoke about a while back, the county opened right up after getting the $497 million. Right. And without discussions with us, pretty much came down with a plan as to how the funds would be used. And the cities literally had to have a press conference in protest to get them to the table to talk about a reasonable distribution formula. And one of the things that concerned me during this whole process, we were dealing strictly with the mayor. The commissioners were relatively silent on that issue, and we had to speak for ourselves. As a county commissioner, do you see any problems with expressing a counter view to that of the mayor, or is your view the mayor simply administer the county and you guys set policy? What's your view of the interchange between the mayor and the commissioners?
Look, the commission is the legislative body here. The home rule charter is the home rule charter, right? And just because a mayor carries the strong mayor title doesn't make them, whether it's a she or he, it doesn't make either one of them more superior than us as commissioners, who are, by way of the home rule charter, technically legislators who've been given the power to deal with issue as they come. There's no one body better than the other. So simply because a mayor voices an opinion or attempts to change policy through the media or through cascading other cities as not being part of the solution is not going to have a bearing on me one way or the other. But what I can tell you is the power rests with the commissioners, and the commissioners are charged with representing the people who sent them to that legislative body. And it is incumbent upon them to act out and carry out the will of the people. And the will of the people says, when something needs to get done, do it. And there's no dictatorship here in Miami-Dade County.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Representative.
Thank you for being. Would you like to do a closing statement? We've got through all our questions and.
But no, I just want to say thank you all. I know it's hard out there, what you all are doing, and I know you're taking a beating on your budget. And I also know that there are a lot of questions coming from your constituents on what to do next. And all of you all in this call have actually, you led your city in a great way. And I just commend you all for doing what you're doing. And I just hope one day I have the intellect and the understanding of local government that you have that I can use to help craft any decisions that I may make following the November 3rd election. And I just thank you very much.
Well, if you're open to it, we'll be more than happy to sit with you and give you all the information that you need on local governance.
That's the only way I'm.
I'm sure 34 members will be dying to go and visit with you and talk to you about it. And please count on us for that.
Yeah, but make no mistake about it. Thank you very much, Richard. And make no mistake about it. The great thing about serving on the state level is at the end of the day, I still had to come home and face the local issues. And the local issues, like I said before, are truly important to me. And that's why when your members review this, they can go and Google what I've been able to do on a state level that it will actually benefit the local level. And thank y'all for always coming to Tallahassee and expressing your opinion. And hopefully I've made y'all proud.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay, he's gone. Thank you, Mayor Wallace,